Hey everyone, this is Samantha Farley. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. This is a video series about type 1 diabetes, my experience of living with type 1 diabetes, what I've learned over the past year of living with type 1 diabetes, and I'm here to help you hopefully excel with your type 1 diabetes. So today I want to talk about changing our mindset around having type 1 diabetes. I know so many people in the Denver community right now that have type 1 diabetes, and it's funny because everyone's mindset around the autoimmune disease is a bit different. I know some people that are really happy about having type 1 diabetes, which might seem crazy, right? Like, why would you be happy about having type 1 diabetes? But I know a lot of people that are like that and they're thriving with the disease. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I know some people who hide their diabetes, hate it, wish they didn't have it, are upset about it all the time. And so what I wanted to talk about is really just changing your mindset to get to that phase of thriving with diabetes. So when I was first diagnosed with diabetes, it was such an overwhelming process for me because one, I didn't know much about diabetes. Actually, I didn't know anything at all. I've only heard, what I heard on TV about type 2 and just, the social aspect of what people say with type 2 diabetes, but I had no idea anything about type 1. I actually only knew one person my entire life that had type 1 diabetes that I went to high school with, but I still didn't even really know what that meant. And so being diagnosed, it was a huge, overwhelming process for me just to one, learn about the disease, but then also accept the disease. However, I actually would say I did a pretty good job accepting the disease when I was diagnosed. I don't know why, but I've always kind of had a good mindset around it is what it is. And sometimes you just have to accept it and move on. That's kind of how I took my diagnosis. Is I said, yeah, this sucks that I just got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. It sucks that I don't have a working pancreas anymore. It sucks that I have to take insulin 4 to 5 times a day. Yeah, that all freaking sucks, but it's not going away. And so when I was speaking with the doctors in the hospital, I had to really work on my mindset there and say, it is what it is. It's not going away. So there's two ways to handle this. I can be really, really upset that I have this disease. I can be pissed off. I can be angry. I can say, screw diabetes. I'm still going to do what I was doing before. I'm not going to take insulin. Or I can take it the other way and say, you know what? It is what it is. It's here now. Let's try to live the best life I can with this disease. And how can I really make my life better with this disease? And I know that's not the easiest thing for a lot of people to do, especially when you're newly diagnosed. It's almost like a loss, right? Like when you lose someone you love, you have that phase of being depressed and being like, why me? Why did this happen? Could I have done something else differently? We all have that phase that we go through when we have a tragic loss. And in this scenario, our tragic loss was losing our pancreas, right? And losing the ability to eat whatever we wanted and grab a handful of food and just eat it and not have to think about it. We lost that. And so it's okay to go through those phases of being depressed, wishing it didn't happen to you, thinking, what could I have done different? We have to go through that because you have to heal, and that is part of the healing process. However, out of my diabetic community here, I know some of these people who still, after several years of having diabetes, are upset, sad, angry, pissed off, take insulin just because they have to, but don't really follow it. So they might be at 250, but are like, screw this. Why am I taking insulin? Like, this is such a stupid disease and blah, blah, blah. I do understand where they're coming from because it is hard. I mean, you all know if you have diabetes, it's a 24/7 disease. We think about it every second of every day. It's not only when we're eating. There's so many things that go into blood sugar and managing your blood sugar. And for women, the time of the month, I mean, there's so much going on with our blood sugars that it's literally a 24/7 disease. So I understand it's not easy. Things are hard. It's a struggle. It is a struggle sometimes. I understand why the frustration comes about having a disease like type 1, but it's really, really important to change your mindset around having type 1 diabetes. Really, what can you do when you start getting upset? Like, oh, you ate Who knows? Maybe you ate something that barely had any carbs, yet you're still skyrocketing, right? That happens to me every once in a while during the time of the month. I will literally eat very healthy, minimal carbs, and my blood sugars will still skyrocket. It's frustrating. It's so frustrating. And I get really upset and I get angry and I get mad. It ruins my day sometimes. But I need to learn to stop and figure out why that's happening first off, right? Like, why is it skyrocketing? Well, guess what? I've learned 1 week of the month, it's going to be more challenging for me to manage my blood sugars because I'm a female and my reproductive system and all that stuff. I think when you learn more about your diabetes, it's easier to accept it because you'll know what to do going forward, rather than just getting angry and throwing it out the window, being like, I hate this, I'm not going to learn anything, blah, blah. It won't ever get better because you're not taking the time to learn about why that happened. And so it's really important to look back and be like, okay, wait, what did I eat? What time of the month is it? Was there fat? Was there fiber? All of that information, use that to your advantage going forward. So if you ever have that time of the month again, which you will if you're a female, and if you want to eat another slice of pizza, you have to figure out what is going to make you have better blood sugars. But a lot of it does come from your mind. Using the right words. I mean, I'm sure you've all heard of this before, but like words of affirmation, saying the right words to yourself makes a huge difference. I need to say, you know what, I have type 1 diabetes, and that's okay. Yes, it is frustrating sometimes. Yes, it is very hard sometimes. Yes, my blood sugars go to 250 sometimes, but it is what it is. It's not going away. And so I am going to do whatever I can to be the healthiest I can be, to manage it the best way I can manage it. Be proud that I have this disease. And it's a lot easier also if you surround yourself with a community of other type 1s. I remember when I was first diagnosed, like I mentioned earlier, I only knew one person and I'm not even really close with her. So the first thing I did was actually go to Instagram and I typed in hashtag type 1 diabetes in the search bar, and a ton of people showed up. That made a life-changing thing for me because I had other people to relate to. And I don't like to use the word compare, but like, you know, compare my scenario and be like, okay, this is working for her. Why isn't it working for me? And trying to figure all of that out. Really changing your mindset around type 1 diabetes, learning everything you can about your scenario, because yes, type 1 diabetes is the same autoimmune disease. We all have the same one, but everybody's bodies are different. So it's important to learn your story with type 1 diabetes, because you're not going to be the same as Joe Schmo over there who has type 1 diabetes. So you need to learn your own way and document. I mean, document that stuff, have a journal, write it all down, do what you have to do to learn it so you are in a better place the next time around. Secondly, you need to change your mindset, right? Instead of saying, oh, I hate this disease, say, you know what, it's here and I'm going to thrive with it. I'm going to rock my Dexcom. I'm going to rock my Omnipod or whatever pump you're using, or I use pens. So I'm like, I'm going to go in the middle of a restaurant and just go like this. I don't care what anybody is looking at me. I don't care what anybody's saying about me. Changing your mindset around the whole thing will make you so much happier. I don't want you to think that every day is going to be easy, because it's definitely not. And I think we all know that by now. It's definitely not going to be easy, but it will definitely help with the process. Really connecting yourself with other people living with type 1 diabetes will make a huge difference. It will make you not feel so alone. It will make you have people to talk to when you are stressed out. That is kind of what I'm trying to build here with Type 1 Tribe, actually, is I want to build a community. I want people to not feel alone. And I want to make living with Type 1 diabetes as easy as possible. And we got to do it together. I'd love to be there for you. If you're struggling or have questions, like, let me know, because I have questions every day about this disease. It's not easy at all. And so I want to build a community where I can ask you all questions, and then you can also ask me questions, and we can come up with answers together. I'm so happy you guys are here. And I'm so happy we had this conversation about mindset, because sometimes I have to remind myself to change my mindset. Let's change it. Let's see what we can do next time to make this a better process. One last thing before I head out today, my website is officially live. So it's type1tribe.com. And like I just mentioned, it's going to be a community building process where we can all connect and thrive together. But then I'm also offering products on my website that will make your life easier living with this disease. Go check it out. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful diabetes day. You got it.